Am I the asshole for refusing to do a portrait for my boyfriend, leaving him without a wedding gift? I do digital portraits, mostly as a hobby, but I've gotten a few commissions here and there. A while ago, my boyfriend and I were hanging out with mutual friends, and my boyfriend suggested in front of everyone that I do a portrait as a gift for someone's upcoming birthday. While it was a little annoying to be volunteered by him, I did think it was a good idea and went ahead and did it. The next time a birthday in the group came up, my boyfriend made the same suggestion, and as a result, quote, the birthday portrait has kind of become my thing. My boyfriend will get something small as his gift since he views the portrait as being from us. The part where I may be the asshole is that I haven't told him explicitly to stop volunteering me for these portraits. It is my fault for going along with the birthday thing for our friends without saying anything, but I kind of assumed that he would at least keep these requests within the realm of common sense. Well, his college buddy is getting married, and my boyfriend told him that I would make him a portrait of him and his bride as a wedding gift. I have never even met this person. To make matters worse, he apparently made this promise weeks ago, but only told me about it today, and the wedding is this Saturday. 4-day notice. I finally lost it at him and told him that I'm not his personal portrait sweatshop, and that he only does this because he's a cheapskate, and it gets him out of spending any money on a gift, even though it costs me a lot of time. He argued back that a bespoke portrait is so much better than just buying something off of the registry, that it's a generous thing for me to do. It helps build my portfolio, and that I don't get very many paid commissions anyways. For the record, I don't get many paid commissions because I don't charge peanuts for them. I have a full-time job, so I price according to what it would be worth giving up that amount of free time that it takes me. He told me that I put him in a really difficult position, that he hyped up the portrait, and they were both really looking forward to it. He said, please just do this one and I won't ask again. I said no, I don't even know these people, so this is not my problem. He looked up a couple of portrait artists online, but none of them were willing to do the piece on a short turnaround he needed at the quality he wanted and at a price he was willing to pay. He even tried using an AI image generator, which was a complete slap in the face to me as an artist.
God.
But all of the outputs were very obviously AI. He's begging me to just please do this one, and he will make it up to me on my birthday. But especially after he apparently thought my work was so worthless that it could be effortlessly reproduced by a machine, I'm just really not in the mood.
Wow, it escalated.
He
started digging that hole.
He could have just been like, babe, I'll pay you.
I was about to say,
I'll pay you.
Be like, I'll pay you for your work since this is super inconvenient.
You're right.
You can't. It's hard for you.
Yeah, you're right. This is the last time I'll ask. Let me just pay you, please. I get it. I get it.
I feel like it started where like I didn't think either was the asshole. I was like, he's proud of her. He likes her stuff. He also low-key likes not having to buy anything.
Yeah.
And then she was doing it. It kind of worked out. But at one point, I think she should have communicated to him, like, can you just not promise people things without talking to me first?
Yeah.
Because I've definitely been in that situation with family where people be like, oh, I promised like 10 people tickets to something.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, you have to ask me first. And then I'm an asshole because I can't get it. And they're like, you're putting me in a bad position. I'm like, I never agreed to even be in this position. So I get how she feels.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But she should have had a little more boundaries with it. But it's weird with your significant other because it's fun to be like, yeah, we're getting this and he likes what I'm doing. But this whole last thing, the AI shit is wild.
You literally thought you were going to create it yourself using AI versus just get down on your hands and knees and beg?
I go, here's a pencil, figure it out.
My ex-wife keeps asking me to be part of her kid's life but won't compensate me for my contributions. How can I get her to stop? She's 29 and I'm 32. My ex-wife and I split last June. The court battle was messy and she ended up taking full custody of our 2 kids. The whole ordeal was getting very drawn out and ridiculous, so I ended up giving her what she wanted. A couple months later, she's blowing up my phone demanding that I still continue to be part of her kids' lives. I told her that since she wanted full custody, she can deal with raising them herself. But the fact that she keeps trying to manipulate me to pull her weight when she legally has full custody feels like a slap in the face. After numerous texts, calls, and even emails, I blocked her on everything. She ended up driving an hour plus to my mother's house to beg her to get me to spend time with the kids, saying stuff like since the kids are young, they need the influence of both parents in their lives. If only she thought about that before getting full custody. She keeps saying that I won't have to contribute financially, which isn't the problem because we both have well-paying jobs, but that she wants me to take them out to eat or something or visit. Like that would even make a difference. It's still work to drive all the way out there to mess around with stuff that isn't even my responsibility anymore. I told her over a phone call that if she wants me to expend that much effort and time when I'm already busy, then she needs to compensate me financially. Like I said, the money isn't the issue here. I just feel like if I'm going to have to play the role of father when I don't even have partial custody, then I shouldn't be doing it for free. It's not my job anymore. That much she's made clear. I'm getting so tired of all the mess and the constant harassment via phone call and text. I just want her to leave me alone. I think she's seriously having trouble living with her decisions. How can I resolve the situation? Legally, it should be resolved, but how can I stop her from trying to manipulate me? Am I in the wrong for not tipping a waitress and giving her a reason as to why? I, male 48, was at a restaurant yesterday with a few of my friends. We usually go out and it all goes well. We always pay separately, and it's important to know that I always tip in usual cases, this not being one. So the beginning goes fairly well. The hostess takes us to our seats and the waitress comes out shortly after. We usually always joke around with the waitresses, so when she asks me if I would like something with my drink, I say, I suppose you aren't on the menu, so I'll just have my crab cakes, unfortunately. She didn't laugh at my joke though. I found this to show her lack of both service but also interest and attention to the guests she works to serve. Other waitresses usually laugh or joke about, but I decided to let it slide. The second thing that led up to a no tip was that it took a long time for her to bring out the food, which to me yet again shows her lack of service and attention. The third was that we already had time to finish our appetizer before she came back to check on us. Had something been wrong with our food, she would not have known. The fourth thing was that she served my friend a medium steak, though he asked for medium rare. The fifth was that she forgot about my drink order and I had to remind her. She did not notice by herself. The sixth was that almost every time me or one of my friends tried to joke with her, she didn't laugh. She did not smile. She just looked like we disgusted her. The experience was not all nice, and I fully believe it was due to the service we had. All of my friends and me agreed that no one would tip her due to how we felt both forgotten about, mistreated, and overall service. When we were paying, I told her that I assumed that she would realize, but I would like to explain to her why we decided not to tip her. I told her almost everything and explained that we all usually leave good tips so that she knows she missed out. She just stares at me and told me, "Okay, have a nice rest of your evening, sweetheart." This ticked me off, but we all decided to leave. When I told my wife and her daughter about this today, they both asked me what was wrong with me. Not only did I not tip her and explain, but also for how me and my friends had treated her. I asked her what was wrong with our treatment, as no other waitress ever found something wrong with it. They told me that I should really think about it all again, and that if I can't find anything wrong with it, to think harder. I'm at a loss for words, as the only people to even think I did something wrong are my wife and her daughter. All my friends fully believe that we were in the right here. Was it really that wrong of me not to tip and explain why? If I do something inappropriate or wrong that affects my work or customer satisfaction, I would like to know. That's something that I think should go for waitresses too. Am I in the wrong for eating all my pregnant wife's pickles and refusing to go buy her more even though she's craving them really badly? I, 28 male, hosted a work lunch where the main food was sub sandwiches, homemade. My wife, female 27, is 5 months pregnant and craves all pickles, butter, garlic, dill, kosher, mini, etc. You name it and she craves it. Due to this extensive craving, which is understandable I guess, we have several jars of varied pickles. I used one jar of dill pickles for the sub sandwiches, which are her favorite, but still left over seven jars of varying types of pickles. After the lunch was finished, she confronted me about eating all of her dill pickles and demanded that I go buy more. I argued that I only used one jar and never host anything, as this was our first house and we had just fully settled in after moving out of my parents' finished basement. And she told me that I should have asked her first, and that I was a B word for eating her pickles. I told her that she was being unreasonable and refused to buy her more until she finished all 7 jars of pickles that we still have and have had for months. Some are not even opened. She threatened me with a divorce and did not speak to me for 3 days until her ankles were too swollen to get on shoes by herself. Please help. Am I in the wrong here? If yes, I'll apologize and buy her 4 jars of her favorite dill pickles. If not, we may get a divorce, although this threat was likely due to her spiked hormones.
Having a really wide age gap between you and your younger sibling is weird because you're both completely different people. You were both raised by completely different sets of parents, essentially. For example, I was raised by 2 broke 20-year-olds, okay? And I know a lot of dark family secrets because I lived them. And also my parents told me, because when I was 6 and they were brand new parents, they were like, surely this is not a real human who will remember everything in 20 years. But I do, and I talk about it incessantly. So when my youngest sister was born, they were like, we should probably keep some secrets from this one. My sister is being raised by a couple of retired globetrotters who eat organic, ethically sourced ground beef. She'll come home from vacations and she'll say, yeah, it was a really cool vacation, but the hotel we stayed at wasn't nearly as cool as the one we stayed at in New York last month. And I'm like, when I was your age, we went on vacation to my aunt's house in Yakima, and I had to sleep in a cupboard. They put me in a cupboard in an RV because there was nowhere else for me to sleep. My giant uncle picked me up, shoved me in the cupboard, and then the next day I was like, please, can I sleep in the house? Because I had to pee so bad and I couldn't get down out of the cupboard, but I was also scared of falling asleep because I didn't want to roll out of the cupboard and get hurt. And they went, fine, you can sleep beneath the dining room table. And I slept on that linoleum and I was grateful. And I love my sister. Sometimes she asks me things like, do you think we'd be friends in real life if we weren't sisters? And I say, yes, of course. But on the inside, I'm like, no way, you only know 2 Britney Spears songs. That is offensive. 2 Britney Spears songs? Not even any of the new ones from after you were born?
Would I be wrong if I continue to stretch my ears after my boyfriend expressed he hates it? I, 30 female, have been with my boyfriend 30 male for just shy of a decade. He is a very clean-cut guy and very professional, but I have a sleeve of tattoos, dyed hair, and pierced ears. He works from home as a lead programmer, and I am a manager pet groomer. And despite these differences, we have a lot of similar interests. I started getting tattoos before we met, but my biggest one was 2 years ago. He only made complaints on how much I've spent. Now fast forward to this past month, I decided I would stretch my current piercings. With the help and advice of a friend, I got a kit and have been working on stretching, with the goal being about 2 gauge or 0 gauge max. When I first told my boyfriend, he explained that he really did not like how they looked and did not want me stretching it to the point where you could see through it. I told him not to worry and that I would stop before I got to the generally accepted point of no return. Would I be wrong if I continue to stretch my ears after my boyfriend expressed how much he hates it? Today I moved up from a 10G to a 8G and he was watching me moisturize and sanitize my ears. Once again, he asked how big I was going and I showed him what a 2G looked like. Then he gave me an unpleasant look and explained that he really hated the look. He further went to explain that the stretched ears were not my aesthetic, as it was more punk, where I fit into streetwear or gal style. He does not like how they look and doesn't think I'll look good with them. I was disheartened and took out my jewelry, packed them up, and put them away to maybe discard. I'm now sitting here debating if I do want to continue stretching my ears because it is something for myself, or if I should honor his wishes and stop. I already pushed my luck with my tattoos and how big they are, so maybe I should just let this one thing go. I don't want him to think I'm unattractive, so I don't want to change myself past what he's willing to accept.